Hello and welcome to another motorcycle video. I'm on the Spider, and as you can see, this is called On the Road Part 1, and I'm heading out of Goulburn going east on the Braidwood Road. Now this video I'm going to leave the sound effects from the bike running, so over my audio or as well as my own audio, as well as my voice, you can hear the engine noises, and you'll probably be able to hear snippets of music coming from the audio system. I hope I don't get into an issue of copyright with YouTube over that. Sometimes they let you use the music anyway, so even though the copyright holder has given you permission to use it for this particular video, so I hope that's what happens in this case. If not, I suppose they make a copyright claim and ask me to remove it, then the video will have to come down and I'll start again. So anyway, it is Saturday the 14th, sorry, was it the 15th of April when I recorded this video. I'd done the park run early in the morning and thought that now is a good time to go out for a ride. You can see the sky is blue and sunny. It was pretty foggy when I went out, but the fog had lifted by about 8:30, and it was around midday about this time, so I decided it was time to go out and have a ride on the bike and so on. And so I put on all my gear, jumped on the bike and set off. Now right at this moment here, you can just see on the left hand side there a SUV pulling a caravan. I had come over the hill, as you could see, across over the railway line, and I'm going out here on the Braidwood Road, and he continued to come along the Windellama Road. The driver was making signals as if my indicator was on, and it may well have been, but I felt sure that I had turned it off. So he was assuming that I was going to turn left onto the Windellama Road rather than continue straight ahead, which is what I did. My indicators turn off when you make a turn. They're self-cancelling, but even if they don't, I thought I had automatically turned it off. And a point I'm making here is that I had an incident like this in the last video I was making, where a bloke pulled out of a driveway and snuck into the traffic and thought, well, it's a bike, you'll be able to just pull up. Now in this case, if I did not have my indicator off, then I understand it was a genuine mistake on his part and my fault, because I didn't turn the indicator off. But I feel sure that I had turned the indicator off and was continuing to go straight ahead. He's got a 3-ton ute, a 3-ton SUV and a caravan behind that, and stopping is going to be difficult for him. I understand all that, but it is a give way sign, and he's responsible for giving me the right of way. But as I say, if I had not turned off my indicator, I may well have been at fault there. Okay, so I don't have any particular topic I'm going to talk about this time. This being the first of, I think, 5 video clips of this trip, so I'm just going to talk about things as they come up, describing the road and so on. So at the moment I'm on the Braidwood Road. You can see that this goes obviously to Braidwood, which is a village or town about 80 kilometres east of Goulburn on the way to Bateman's Bay. The road here is in fairly good condition. As you can see, it's pretty wide. It's got markings down the centre. It's got markings on the edges of the road. There are those white guideposts, and there are guide rails where there need to be. And for the most part, this section of it is in pretty good condition. Just crossing Thorns Bridge here over the Mulwarry River. And I often run out in this area, and you'll see a little car parked up here in a moment, just here, and I usually take the turn off that comes just here at Brisbane Grove Road and run up there. I haven't ever run beyond here on this section. From here it goes out to a settlement called Turana, where there's a school and not much else. The road, as I said, is in pretty good condition at the moment. I think the last time I rode this road, this section was not so good, although there don't seem to be any evidence of repairs on it, so maybe it's further on where it wasn't so good. So you can see by the sky, it's a bright sunny day. There's a bit of cloud in the sky. I have the DJI Action 2 camera on the left-hand wing mirror of the Spider, and that's why you can see the nose of the Spider as well as the road ahead. And from the angle you're looking at, it looks like sometimes I'm very close to the centre of the road, but I think that is in part the angle that the camera's at, although I do admit sometimes that I stay away from the edges of the road because they can be uneven and broken up, but they're not at this case. Talking about the audio, I might have explained this in an earlier video, but I'll just explain again. In the boot, or the trunk as the Americans call it, of this machine, there are two sockets. One socket takes a 12-pin plug which has a 3.5mm jack, like an earphone jack, attached to it. So if you had music on a phone, you could plug it in there. And there's a separate cord that comes with the old style Apple cord to plug in an old style iPad that has one of those square or rectangular shaped plugs that iPads used to have. But okay, so you can plug your phone in through the headphone jack and play your music through the audio system of the bike. There are two speakers in the dashboard, and there are two speakers in the built around the passenger seat, and the passenger has their own volume controls for those. Also, there is a cigarette lighter type socket where you can plug in one of those FM transmitters, and that's what I've done. Now, for those who are not sure how they work, I can't give you all the technical details, but what happens is you buy one of these little devices, plug it into the cigarette lighter in your car or your motorcycle in this case. It allocates you an empty frequency on the FM band. I think in this case it's 107.9, which is almost at the end of the range of the FM in Australia, and you tune the radio of the bike to that frequency, and then the FM transmitter has two USB ports. One you can charge your phone with, and the other you can plug in a USB stick that might have music on it, or this one I have also takes a TF, or as they also call it, a micro SD card. So I've put the micro SD card in, plug this thing into that socket, tune the radio to that system, and that's how you're hearing the music. Now normally, as I said, I would mute the volume of the coming from the camera so that you wouldn't pick up that music, but I just thought I'd do it this time and see what happens. So you can hear bits and pieces of songs that I have on my SD card that plays through here. And I'm on my way out of Goulburn, heading east. At the moment, you can probably see right in the middle of the screen, and I didn't realise this at the time, a black spot, and that's not a shadow on the road, it's a spot of dirt or water or something on the camera. Of course, I didn't know that when I was filming, and so unfortunately it's going to show up on every one of these clips, and probably for some of you it's going to be a bit annoying, but it's just one of those things. It happens, and there's nothing, you can just try and work around it. We're coming up on Wakefield Park on the left there. Wakefield Park is a motorway track, or raceway, motor raceway track just out of Goulburn. It's been closed for a good period of time. I recall talking about this in an earlier video, in that the operators applied to extend their hours and the council refused them permission, and they went to the Land and Environment Court, and the Land and Environment Court said no, you've got to stick to your original agreement. So they closed the place and said, well, we can't make any money if we can't operate more days and so on. Wakefield Park has recently been sold, and obviously has new owners, and the new owners have also bought the Pelican Sheep Station, which is just west of Wakefield Park, just before you get to Wakefield Park, and they plan to do some redevelopment of the track, realignment of the track, and some earthworks to lower the track so that the noise that it creates stays in the valley, and hopefully that's going to appease the locals who objected to the extra operating hours. We're talking about a business centre and a cafe and a whole bunch of other stuff. So the good news is for the motor enthusiasts, providing that the new owners get approval, and they're confident of doing that, I assume, otherwise they wouldn't have spent the money to buy the track in the first place. The new owners will reopen the track, and there'll be motorsports there, and there'll be track days, and lots of people who test cars, motoring journalists who test cars, and even perhaps sometimes car manufacturers who want to test their cars, hire the track, take their vehicles out there and give them a good thrash around to get them used to driving in Australian conditions. So, I mean, if you're a motorsport enthusiast, there is a hope at some stage that Wakefield Park will reopen and will create some jobs, not only on track days, but if there's a business centre out there and there's a cafe, it may even generate some interest on other days as well. You can see here on both sides of the road that it's quite dry, Obviously, it's April, so it's autumn now, and the grasses and so on. The spring rains have already been and gone. The grass has grown, the animals have eaten that, and now we're coming into the middle month of autumn, and then the long winter of Goulburn. So it's not unusual to find the grass turning brown and the looking quite dry at this time of the year. This road is the main east-west road between the village, the township of Braidwood, and then further on to the east coast at Bateman's Bay and places like that. So if you want to go down to the coast, it's one of the main roads to get to the coast, especially if you want to get to Bateman's Bay. There are other options if you want to go to Nowra, say, or Wollongong, or if you want to go further south to Bega and Eden, you take a different road. But this is the main one for people in Goulburn who want to go to the east coast, to the beach or to Bateman's Bay. And there are people in Goulburn who have holiday cottages down there. Once the road, this is called the Braidwood Rd here, and the other side of Tarrago, the eastern side of Tarrago, about 25 k's or so, it meets the Queanbeyan Road, or the road from Queanbeyan. It becomes the King's Highway. Very popular road with people from Queanbeyan and also people from the ACT who have holiday houses down at Bateman's Bay. Well, thank you for watching. This is the first of, I think, 5 clips that I'll be posting of this ride. Hope you found this one a bit different and a bit interesting, and I'm not sure whether I'll continue with the theme of letting the background noise play, or I'll mute that and talk about particular subjects, but we'll see that as we go along. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. There'll be another track following fairly short, another clip following shortly.